There are occasions when doing no move at all is the most effective move. If you are subjected to such injustice or wrongdoing and made the decision to remain silent, you are not demonstrating weakness. Rather, you are demonstrating strategy. When you take a step back and allow the universe to handle your conflicts, that is when the most remarkable comebacks take place. Due to the fact that they were so preoccupied with keeping an eye on you, they were completely unaware that a greater power was carrying out the same task. Some warriors fight with swords, while others fight with words, but the most fearsome warriors fight with silence, displaying a cosmic patience that confuses the adversary and accords with the law of the universe. In the moment that they struck, you did not bring yourself down to their frequency. Rather, you have risen. Via prayer, via music that connected with higher dimensions, and through affirmations that produced new neuron pathways of power within your consciousness, you were able to transform that poison into medicine. The group as a whole held this view. They were able to identify the signature of your energy, the way in which it avoided being corrupted, and the way in which it preserved its integrity even when integrity appeared to be stupidity. This is not a coincidence. Rather, it is a result of divine selection. It is always those whose spirits are able to survive the flames without turning into ash, without becoming the very darkness that they battle against, who are the ones who are subjected to the trials by fire. You are currently experiencing a searing sensation of knowledge within you, downloads from realms that are beyond the veil, and insights concerning the true nature of what did take place. You have been selected as the receptacle for these insights, and it is not for you to broadcast them to ears that are deaf. Rather, you are to keep them sacred until the time that has been set. This knowledge is not intended for casual discussion. Rather, it is a sacred message that has been given to you because your consciousness is capable of bearing its weight at this time. The knowledge that you possess regarding this injustice extends beyond the area of proof and logic. It makes contact with the realm of pure knowing. The mechanics of cause and effect that regulate this universe have been brought to your attention with pinpoint accuracy, and you have gained a peep behind the curtain of reality. At this moment, your prudence is serving the utmost benefit. Before the time of revelation arrives, the sacred must be shielded from the gaze of profane people. Those individuals who were responsible for causing turmoil against you were not aware of this fundamental law. Whatever is hidden in the shadows must ultimately come into contact with the light. While bigger forces were aligning for the ultimate unveiling, their brief victory was always an illusion, a cosmic diversion. Meanwhile, the ultimate reveal was to come. Your awakened senses are the source of this awareness. They are the ones that notice disruptions in the field that others entirely miss. This awareness does not originate from paranoia. You have seen a shift in the veil that separates universes, and as a result, you are now able to discern things that have always been present but were previously hidden from your awareness. In spite of this, you continue to glow even while you are under the microscope of attention. That is the thing that baffles them the most. In spite of their efforts to dim your light and to make you shrink out of fear, you end up growing larger. Your reality is being reshaped by new beginnings, which are like fresh water splashing against ancient stone. This is happening despite their strenuous attempts to keep you locked to old narratives. Their envy is nothing more than confirmation. Would they spend such a significant amount of energy monitoring a being that is powerless? Number. The reason they watch you is because you are a representation of the thing that they fear the most. genuine power that cannot be awarded or cancelled by an external authority, power that originates from the source and flows through a vessel that has not been corrupted. They are challenged in their illusion of control by the simple fact that you exist. Witness the unraveling of those who are responsible for the injustice that was committed on you. Take a look at how their planned strikes devolve into a frantic attempt to protect themselves. As a result of their own web of lies, the liar is currently disoriented. The player suddenly becomes aware that they are participating in a game with rules that they have never completely comprehended. Their digital fingerprints, which were formerly casually scattered across email messages, documents, and texts, now constitute a threat to their very existence. Behold their frantic efforts to delete, to change records, and to create uncertainty in the same place where they had previously built a conspiracy. However, there is no room for exceptions to the universal law of evidence. It is not possible to totally remove from the cosmic record everything that has already been set in motion. You didn't stumble here by accident, you were led. If something in your spirit is stirring, don't ignore it. Tap Join to access exclusive content, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven souls. This isn't just a membership, it's your moment of alignment. Step into who you were born to be. Welcome to the Chosen. The chaos that your adversaries are experiencing is not a result of chance. Rather, it is a divinely ordered chaos that is intended to show the truth through contrast. While they are making an effort to bury tracks, they are just causing more evident disruptions in the field themselves. They expose the entire network of complicity as they reach out to allies for support with the intention of receiving it. They are making an effort to rewrite history, and as they do so, the original script becomes more clearly defined in comparison to their careless modifications. They are beginning to experience a weakening of their financial basis. The natural law of energetic return causes the resources that they used against you to begin to shrink over time. The same thing that they projected outward is now reflecting back inward with the accuracy of mathematics. There is no such thing as a truly lost object. Everything is only altered and brought back to its point of origin. The universe functions according to perfect equations. Make a mental note of these words with the complete attention of your soul. An enlightenment is on the horizon that does not require any action on your behalf. The divine timing, which is a mystery force that functions beyond human calendars and convenience, has been at work the entire time, moving pieces on the cosmic chessboard while you have maintained your position with dignity. Rewiring is being done to uncover the techniques that they used against you in order to get an advantage. The corruption that they believed was safely hidden will be brought to light in such a brutal manner that there will be no place for them to hide. This thief, who had before believed that they were invisible, is now featured prominently on the stage of the universe. Those individuals who have sided with those who are opposed to you, such as the peculiar neighbors, the casual betrayers, and the calculated opponents, will hear this disclosure with astonishment and recognition. There are those who will continue to deny until it is impossible to deny, while others will make every effort to separate themselves from something that they previously enthusiastically participated in. There are yet some who will have the great spiritual awakening that comes from seeing the repercussions in their most unadulterated form. Without your orchestration, none of this would be possible. A more intelligent intelligence was plotting while they were plotting. The entire fabric of reality was attempting to plan in realms that they were unable to access while they were scheming in chambers that they had created for themselves. It was never your responsibility to compel this justice. Rather, it was your duty to remain steadfast in your truth as universal law worked with painstaking precision toward the completion of the inevitable disclosure. I have to take a brief break from this transmission due to an emergency. You have been selected, right? Discern this. Viewing videos about the individuals of your choice is simple. To put oneself to the test is a whole different kind of activity. The archons that exist beyond our reality made one thing abundantly obvious to me when I met them. Truly selected ones are extremely few. When they considered the possibility of our finding each other, they laughed. Despite this, you are currently viewing this message. The fact that their attacks were actually initiations disguised as warfare was something that they never comprehended, and something that they were unable to fathom due to the restricted frequency of their attacks. An evolution occurred within your spiritual DNA as a result of each attack that was made against you. In the process of transforming your co-consciousness into diamond consciousness, their attempts to belittle you were the very pressure that drove the transformation. This improvement in spirituality was not a coincidence. Rather, it was the divine purpose that had been concealed behind the suffering all along. You have been transformed into a vessel that is capable of holding higher frequencies of truth as a result of the fire that was intended to destroy you. Not punishments, but rather faster evolution disguised as anguish. The lessons that were contained inside injustice were not punishments. The metamorphosis that has taken place is witnessed by your forefathers. The obstacles that appeared to be the most personal and arbitrary are the ones that activate their wisdom, which means that it passes through your DNA. What looked to be random brutality was actually precision spiritual surgery, which involved eliminating whatever was preventing you from expressing your utmost potential and producing exactly what your soul required for the next phase of its evolution. In the not-too-distant future, you will have the opportunity to experience what mystics throughout history have referred to as the Great Reversal. This is the mysterious turning point that occurs when everything that appeared to be working against you suddenly reveals itself to have been working for your highest being all along. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. The business endeavors that appeared to be stalled will suddenly flow with synchronized ease. It is expected that the creative expression that was restrained will emerge with a revitalized sense of force. The relationships that were severed will be restored with partnerships that have such perfect resonance that you will be amazed by the exchange. You should get ready for the inevitable explosion from those individuals who feel as though they are losing control of the situation before this divine unfolding reaches its definitive conclusion. When the truth is getting closer to being revealed, when their manipulation is losing its effectiveness, and when their perplexity is getting more intense, their desperate clutch for control will eventually show as anger. No, this exhibition is not strength. Rather, it is the last gasp of a paradigm that is on its way out. The explosion of rage that is directed at your fulfillment, toward your expansion, and toward your perseverance is a signal that they are aware of the approaching exposure that is about to occur. They are not angry with you, but rather with the cosmic order, which cannot be permanently tainted, but can only be temporarily deformed into a different form. Witness this outburst with the dispassionate compassion of someone who is aware of the underlying reason of the outburst. Their wrath is meant to conceal their horror. which is the existential fear of confronting consequences that have been purposefully put in motion via conscious choosing. Even though it allows for a great deal of flexibility of action, the world never differentiates between action and effect. Now, this unchangeable law is closing in on them like a net that was spun from the choices that they previously made. The spiritual deterioration that they have experienced stands in stark contrast to your growth. As your consciousness grows to encompass more light, more truth, and more genuine power, theirs contracts under the weight of denial, dishonesty, and desperate attempts to protect themselves. You did not create this divergent course. Rather, it was their choice that was made evident through the legal system of the cosmos. Now take a step back with a heightened awareness and keep an eye out for the pattern that is developing from what was before chaotic. Observe how each assault that is directed at you fits neatly into a broader plan for your awakening. Pay attention to the fact that each betrayal cut precisely the links that would have impeded your path to the highest possible level. Be conscious of the fact that each challenge compelled the growth of precisely the spiritual muscles that are required for the subsequent progress of your soul. The curious individuals who were keeping an eye on your affluence were unaware that they were witnessing a proof of a universal principle. Although they were operating from the shadows, the calm figure did not realize that they were only performing a duty that had been allocated to them in your activation sequence. It never occurred to the person who was enthralled with your movements that they were witnessing a cosmic initiation taking place in human persona. In the same way that the ocean is greater than a single drop of water, this divine orchestration is greater than human orchestration. Although they were only characters in a novel that was created at levels of consciousness that they were unable to access, your persecutors fooled themselves into thinking that they were the writers of your story. Their restricted perspective prevented them from understanding the multidimensional chess that was being played through their behaviors that were predictable. The spring introduces the individual who resides in the mansion and has blue eyes and pale hair. This individual is a member of the group of manipulators who believe they are invisible. Revelries about water and vessels, as well as people with darker and lighter complexions acting their respective parts, are revealed throughout the fall season. At the decisive turning point, when individual pain meets public reckoning, the winter season is right around the corner. This inherent law of cosmic time dictates that these seasons of revelation will develop without your intervention, since they are in accordance with it. The law of the universe is able to enforce itself with absolute accuracy. For millennia, mystics have been able to persevere in the face of persecution thanks to this reality. Cosmic justice maintains its precise accounting without any hurry or delay, even when human systems of justice fail because they are corrupted by the very forces that they profess to regulate. Those who have been involved in the trafficking of products or energies through intermediaries that are dishonest are now subject to this cosmic accountability. The activation of security mechanisms that were beyond their comprehension was brought about by the hacking of systems, whether they were technological or spiritual. In their modest home, there are mysteries that will soon be brought to light. Their business operations, which were constructed on sand foundations, are now confronted with the oncoming wave of reality. Some individuals are concerned about the confinement of human-made jail cells. Yet, what is approaching is a confinement of much greater significance, the captivity within the consequences that one has created for themselves. In the event that the structures of deception are brought down, they will provide the ideal contours of justice, which are crafted according to the precise activities that they were constructed to conceal. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull, tap, join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. Protection surrounded you throughout this organized chaos, but it did not always come in the shape of something you could recognize, and it did not always come in the form of external interventions that you could assign to higher forces. Due to the formation of a shield surrounding your field by the energy, what would have been able to destroy a being with less protection has been deflected. Whenever there is a genuine danger, this divine protection will react in a proportional manner. The defenses surrounding your energy became more robust as the attacks became more intense. Because subtle manipulations took the place of frontal assault, your intuitive discernment became more developed, allowing you to identify what your physical senses might overlook. It was not a coincidence. Rather, it was supernatural intelligence adjusting its protection in order to fulfill the ever-changing expectations of the world. Due to the fact that they were unable to detect the legions who were standing guard around you, your adversaries felt that you were standing alone. The spiritual blindness that they possessed prohibited them from recognizing what your growing sensitivity indicated. The fire of initiation is never traversed by a selected individual without the presence of a companion. The very forces that led to your selection for this duty made certain that you would be provided with the necessary protection to successfully carry out in it. This in no way indicates that you have been spared the suffering. Protection never guaranteed that there would be no suffering. Rather, it promised that there would be a purpose within the suffering that was experienced. Not only did it guarantee that you would escape all wounds, but it also made certain that no hurt would be dangerous to your purpose. In order to comprehend the nature of spiritual battle and cosmic justice, it is essential to have a clear grasp of the distinction. Prepare yourself for the unveiling of fake friends, people who have shown themselves as loyal while actually serving other masters. As the revelation process speeds up, it is possible that this exposure would first be painful, but you should identify it as an additional layer of protection, another removal of what would have eventually stood in the way of your highest route. As this divine unveiling continues to unfold in its perfect manner, all of these figures that are surrounding you will be confronted with the harsh light of truth. These figures include the person who pretends to be good but has problems with gambling, the stalker who is obsessed with spiritual language, and the witchy group that operates through subtle manipulation rather than genuine power. All of these shadows emerge not as a result of your exposure, but rather as a result of the natural intensification of light that comes along with spiritual evolution. Their avarice, their addictions, and their compulsive urge to control what frightens them are all examples of these shadows. As the frequency of your frequency increases, anything that is unable to meet that frequency must either transform or leave. This spiritual commandment does not allow for any kind of compromise or compromise. From the standpoint of a restricted perspective, what appears to be treachery is actually required sorting when viewed through the lens of enlarged knowledge. Is it something you would choose to move forward while surrounded by people who are working against your ultimate good in secret? You are about to enter the next level of service and power, and the universe loves you so much that it cannot allow such contamination to remain hidden. As you go through this process of purification, your true purpose will become more and more apparent, not only to you, but to everyone who has eyes to see it. A revitalized force is now flowing through the creativity that was formerly attacked. After being undermined in the past, the company is now aligned with prospects that have perfect resonance. The gifts that were once disregarded are now able to find outlets for expression that are directed toward the individuals who are intended to receive them. A direct demonstration of divine recognition. The cosmos noting your constancy through trial and responding with proportional assistance. This is not the result of random luck or coincidental timing. Rather, it is the direct manifestation of divine recognition. The amount of money that was stolen is increased. What had been obstructed is now moving forward with a greater momentum. The things that were concealed are suddenly glaring with clear clarity. In order to move forward in your job, you will need to undergo spiritual cleansing. This is not because you are corrupt. Rather, it is because you have walked through corrupt energies that have left residue on your field. The spiritual nonsense that is being discussed is not merely a ritual. Rather, it is a practical method of energy management that involves eliminating attachments that, if left unchecked, would obscure the clarity of your next vision, your next download, or your next direction. This following step requires mental clarity and the ability to communicate effectively, both of which are given by the substantial air sign influence. It is now possible for individuals who are traveling similar routes of initiation to receive activation codes through your words. When you talk from this pure consciousness, you not only broadcast knowledge, but also transformation, which acts as a catalyst for awakenings in people who are equipped to receive such vibrations. What transpires goes beyond a simple vindication of oneself. Your own justice is only a single thread in a much larger cosmic reweaving that the universe is woven together. The revelation of what was done to you simultaneously reveals mechanisms of manipulation that have been in operation for years without being subject to any form of oversight. Your own experience can serve as a model for the application of universal principles. This provides an explanation for the enormity that you feel is being drawn closer to you, the size that seems out of proportion to your particular circumstances. Some people who have public platforms, some people who have celebrity status, and some people who have institutional power find themselves caught in this same net of revelation. This is not because they have a connection to your particular situation. Rather, it is because the same cosmic cleaning crew addresses similar violations across multiple domains at the same time. Inquisitive individuals who keep an eye on your abundance are now subject to examination themselves. The intriguing and handsome figure that had been operating in the shadows is now standing in the light, which is unsettling. Those who maneuvered from behind the walls of the mansion are now challenged by foundations that are eroding. By following the same universal law through a variety of forms, these concurrent discoveries create a symphony of justice that spans multiple octaves of influence. As these insights continue to speed up and become more intense, your position stays unwavering. You must remain steadfast in the truth without the need to coerce its acceptance. The affirmation that you seek from other people becomes increasingly meaningless as you are surrounded by indisputable evidence of your true perspective that comes from the cosmos. You are now able to see through the harsh light of exposed falsehood, which causes the gaslighting that once caused you to question your reality to melt. Carry on with your spiritual activities, not out of a sense of desperation, but rather out of wisdom that is in alignment. You are now accelerating your growth through daybreak thanks to the prayers, the music, and the affirmations that sustained you during the darkness. Because the obstruction that was around your field is decreasing, the tools that were used for survival are now functioning as technology for manifestation, which results in enhanced power.